Hello and welcome to Bad at Board Games. My name is Brad Lake and I'm bad at board games, so you don't have to be. Today we're going to be talking about Pampero, the wins in Uruguay. It's a Euro game. It's a big boy box. Look how thick that is. And we'll be going over this. We'll see what my BGG rating is, what my value rating is, pros, cons. Try to do a summary of the overview of the turns. Stick around, find out all that fun stuff. First, we're going to go into the designer and publisher. This is by Ape Games. Ape is an acronym, and I can't remember. It's something. You can look it up. It's by Julian Pombo, and I think I have a no, I don't. His portrait picture online is very serious. Looks like he's ready to go hurt someone. But the theme of this is Uruguay. They need power and they don't want to import it. They have strong winter winds called Pampero, hence the name Pampero. And they want to get power to the rural areas versus the cities first, and then work on the power grid to get things throughout the country, and then at the same time work on rural areas as well for that. So that's kind of the theme of the whole game. So you're working your way from the hardest reached areas to get power to out to the sea, where more of the urban areas are. Mechanics, there's quite a few in this. We've got card action selection. We have hand management, because you're going to start with a deck of cards, I think 5 or 6, can't remember the exact number. And then I said hand management, we've got a tableau. So I'm going to show you some better pictures, but this is going to be populated with well, they're not meeples, but wooden components, and then those are going to go out onto the main board. So you're unlocking that, and you kind of have an income building. We have income tracks, and they go across this way. There's at least one chaining event in here, and then limited board placement. So it's kind of like worker placement ish, but on this board, which is gigantic, you're going to have place where you can put an electrical line, or a place where you can put a windmill, and only one person can go there. You can only put one resource on that spot unless you get an upgrade that allows you to put 2. And then we have cost reduction mechanisms. So you're going to be playing your action selection cards on this board here. And the further to the right you get with your cards as they fill up the area, it's going to cost less to pay for each action. And then you can also get loans. So when you run out of money or you kind of get stuck, you'll be able to get a loan. But you have to pay that at the end of the game. And the way you win this game is by having the most money at the end of the game. Player count. This is 1 to 4, and there is a solo. Haven't played the solo. I've seen people say like getting killed by the bot in solo. I don't know how hard or easy it is to play, so I can't really talk about that. We've played this at 3, and it took a couple hours at 3. Granted, the teach was an hour, but so I think you could play this at. It's been played at 2, at 3. Haven't played it at 4, but I think you could play this from 2 to 4 and be fine. I think this is definitely a 2-hour game. First time you're going to teach it is going to be about an hour, and we'll talk about having to learn the game and the pros and cons. On your turn, there's 3 things you're doing, right? You are going to grab your cards. You're going to pick one of your cards from this pile, and it's kind of shiny right now. And like I said, there's not very many. There's like 6 cards. And then you're going to place it either on the A side at the top or the B and C side at the bottom. That references where you are on your map, and kind of show you this map here. You've got A areas and B areas and a C area, and they cost more and more to go into those areas. So you're taking that card and placing it here, and you're going to have to pay to put the card in that area. So there's actually, as you get moved down, you can go to the A side or the B side. There's a lot of stuff going on here, but it's always going to cost more typically to go into a more expensive area. The A's are the cheapest, the B's are the more expensive, C is the most expensive. So a lot going on here. As you try to play a card, you have to pay to play. And you're going to go through that 3 times. So I'm going to go, if I'm first player, next person in turn order is going to go, and it's not to the right or the left. The turn order can change. And then the last person's going to go, and then you're going to repeat that 3 times. So you're going to play 3 action cards, and then that's going to make up a round. Once the round is done, you are going to consolidate, and you're going to have your cards here, and as the game goes on, you're going to have more and more cards, but you're going to have to take the rightmost card as one of the 2 cards you pick up, and then you may choose to pick a card up that's in the first slot or the second, or if you're all the way down further, you're going to pick up another card, and then it's going to slide and close those gaps. There is a upgrade that you can get from the upgrade tracks that doesn't have you slide it, which is good, because the further you move to the right, the cheaper things get. And so that's what a round consists of. You play 3 cards, pay to play those cards, put your resource markers out on the board, and then you're going to consolidate and bring a couple cards back into your hand. And then during the game, there is, let's see if we can find it on here. So right here on this side of the board, you've got 1, 2, 3 rounds. And then on the 4th round, you're going to have a scoring phase, and then play another round, another scoring phase, and then end the game. So there's things going on throughout. But that is the gist of the game. I'm trying to see if there's anything I forgot. No, that's it. And it's what's going on out on the board, and how everything works with the contracts that you get, how everything works with the tableau that you're unlocking, and the power that you're getting to be able to do other things, and then the income that you're bringing in. Pros and cons. This is great components. This is like Eagle Griffin quality components, I think, except for this thing I think is kind of funny. You know, they have double layered, thick, heavy cardboard. They have a really nice looking board. It's Ian O'Toole. You know, the board is big. It's beautiful. I'll probably just show you a picture from my computer versus that. But that's definitely a step in the right direction. This is, you know, and this one has the metal coins, but there's great trays in here. I don't know. Yep, they are game trays. Everything's got a spot. All the production is really well done. Some cool chaining things can occur that I like in this game. So, you're able to, like, when you get into some of these income tracks, kind of like Planet Unknown, once you get this far in the income track, it moves you up on another one. There's other combos that you can get if you're kind of watching for it that'll help you move up on the multiples up on the income track, which is pretty cool. I was not able to do that chaining, but Ashby did. He saw the line and was able to pull that off, and so I was like, oh, that's cool. I mean, like, gave me like, okay, I didn't quite play it efficiently or wasn't seeing that, but he was able to do some things to be able to have multiple paths to increase his income, which I thought was really cool. I do like, they have an income, so and I'll see if I can find a better picture of it on the computer versus showing this. But the tableau, so here you can see all of these aqua pieces. You're going to be unlocking these as you put complete contracts. You're going to take a contract from the game board and place it on your tableau. and it kind of has this tech tree that you're working on. That's a multiplier for your income. So if the scoring area is saying I want housing to have more energy, and you're getting housing contracts out on the board and you're unlocking your tableau, that's a multiplier with the income track. If you can see, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the bottom row here, where the gray is, that has a little green house in it. So depending on what your income is there, it's going to multiply with the number of housing contracts you have. So just kind of watch out for that. That's cool. I like that. Everything is having to unlock left to right so that you can play those. Kind of reminds me of Hadrian's Wall. As you're trying to go left to right, building your wall, you have to have the things underneath it unlocked. So has this kind of thing going on with the towers that you're putting out, and everything below it is now, and above it is now unlocked. The games seem to have this natural ramp, even if you're not playing as a pro, even if you're not super efficient at it, where you can get money, right? Like, I felt like money was kind of tight, but somehow, like at the end of the round, or at the next round, when we got the income phase, I had some money and I was able to do something else. Now, you can play yourself into a corner on the map, and I'm not sure you can see it here, but there are areas in Uruguay where there's only so many windmills, and those give you energy, and then there's only so many places for the power line distribution, and those give you something else and can help, and then you need to get the contract. There's a lot going on, right? You can work your way into a corner where, I didn't get any income, but you can get yourself out of a jam by getting a loan, which is kind of unlike Brass, Birmingham, where you like get a loan early and maybe you get a loan a little bit later, and it kind of builds this engine and steamrolls where you can do a lot more. This one's not that forgiving. You're not just gonna, I'm gonna get a loan and then I'm gonna race through to the engine on the end. Maybe you can, but that's not been the experience we've had. It's been more like this get out of jail card free, but now you're gonna have to pay it at the end of the game. So you're gonna lose 30 points for taking out this 30 point money loan, but you're gonna do that at the end. So there's a pro and a con. On one side, I felt like I never got so constricted with the money. It kind of like, as I was playing the game and as I was doing more and putting more out, I kept getting more money on the income side of things. But we did have one of our players, he locked himself into a corner, and ended up having to take out a loan. So pro, and I'm in the cons now. So that's a con about being able to block yourself in, but but there is a way to get yourself out, which is the pro. Yeah. Another con of this is it's a beast to learn. So I luckily got this taught to me, but there's a lot going on here. As I've skimmed through the rule book, because I didn't have to teach it, I think it could have been a little bit easier to explain this, because I feel like there's a lot going on, but after we started playing, it wasn't that hard. But there's enough things and this and that, and you do this and that. Sometimes I feel like games feel like, I'm trying to make it complicated to be complicated. For some reason, I didn't get that out of this. I mean, that can happen sometimes, but I didn't feel that way here. I just felt like maybe the way they were explaining things wasn't super efficient. And even trying to watch some of the how to plays or how to learn, there's so much going on, you can kind of like drone out, right? So that's con. Some cards and the rules in here are not that clear, which kind of learns into the teach. You may get an objective card. I'm like, I don't fully understand what that's trying to say. Just kick it out and put another one in there. Get the ones that are easy to understand. And then another con is it's long to teach, but not hard after the teach. So you got that two sides of the coin. This took about an hour to teach, but once we started going, it was like, okay, I understand that. you're trying, and there's some unlock things that you kind of have to watch, and you may not fully understand, but you know, it moved fairly well, I thought, after the teach, and didn't. You've got cheat sheets, all kinds of cheat sheets here on your tableau here, where you're playing your action selection cards. It basically tells you step one, you have these 3 actions you can take. Play a card, pull all your cards back, and I can't remember what the other one is, but you know, those are the 3 things you can do on your turn. There are things to help you kind of understand what's going on, and it gives you a little something on the back about, you know, how do you get this or how do you get that. I don't know which is nice if you need it. So like I said, we're in the good and bad kind of going back and forth. Definitely this can be a con. This is giant. I'm gonna put this board size up on the thing, but this board in and of itself is huge. I mean, look at this thing. This is just the board, right? I've got a pretty big table. This is big enough. I wish my table were wider. I've got kind of a standard 36 inches wide thing, and so I almost wish I had a 48 wide table. So that's what we've got there. Weight rating. So on BGG we have a 3.81 weight rating. I think this is closer to a 4, so I think this is right. This isn't a 3, which is like Castles of Burgundy. This isn't a 4 or 5, which is more on the harder Lacerdas, right? So I think in that 3.75 to 4 range. Like I said, I think the learn might be, you know, a 4, even a 4.5. But once you start playing it, it definitely does drop. It's not as hard as the learn is, if that makes any sense. So yeah, I think this is around a 4 minus, for what it's worth. We've got a value rating. So being that you've got all these great components and you've got nice production, like I said, this is a big box. There's a lot that came in with this. They're looking to sell this online right now between $130 and $158. Now I don't know if the $158 is more, you know, upcharge for different stores, and the 130 is used. I wasn't able to look into that, but when I just did a quick glance, because this is delivering from Kickstarter, so I don't know, it's going to be in retail, but I don't know how available it is for you yet. I would say for the experience I had, I mean, you're looking at Eagle Griffin, you're paying the price of a Lacerda, essentially. And, you know, Lacerdas can be in that 4 if they're really good. I don't know if I'd ever say a Lacerda is a 5 out of 5 value rating because of how much you're spending and how often you're going to get it to the table. I think not. Like, I don't know if this is in my top 10 Euro games or not. So I'm going to kind of ding it for that. I'm going to say this is like a 2.5 from a 1 to a 5 value rating. If it was like probably $75, I'd probably give this a 4 out of 5. If this were $200, I'd definitely say it's a 1 out of 5. So trying to give you an idea of like my play experience for how much this game is selling for, I'm going to say this is like a 2.5. You know, it's definitely not great. It's definitely not horrible. But you're over $100 game, and then you know, things have to really start being good when you hit that, when you go over that mark. BGG ratings. So we only have, since it's only been delivered, we've got 265 ratings on BGG, and BGG is saying this is a 7.8. So it's, you know, not a lot of people have gotten it. Out of the people who have gotten it and been able to play it, you've only got 265 people who have rated it, which seems low. And that could be that people just aren't getting it to the table, or they weren't like, oh my God, it's so good, I need to go and rate it. You know, that's all those kinds of things. So, you know, this is skewing more towards the people who are biased to liking this game. My rating, when you look at the rating system, is, you know, you're willing to play it as a 7. You want to play it, might recommend it or may recommend it as an 8. 9 is like fabulous, always wanting to play it, always willing to recommend it. 10, walks on water for you. I'm gonna say I'm gonna sit this at an 8. I was really kind of thinking of a 7.5, but I enjoyed playing it. I could see playing it again. I can recommend it to you. And then it just comes down to, do you think the price is worth the recommendation? Like, I can recommend cheaper games that are 8s as well, right? So the money has to come into that factor. That's why I break it up. But I think this is an 8. I think it's a good game. I think you're gonna have a hard time. You're gonna, spend some time learning it, and so that may be a barrier to you wanting to. The price and that may be a barrier for you to get into it. But I can still say it's an 8. So who is this for? I think this is for the Euro game that likes Lacerda, but wants something a little bit lighter on occasion. Like, you're not playing Lacerdas all the time, but you might want something more complicated than Castles of Burgundy, which is a fabulous game. I'm not putting this in that category, but when you're wanting something in between those two, I think this is a good Euro game of that level, right? And the production's fabulous, and I think you can enjoy your plays of it. If you like card action selection, which I'm finding I do, is same with Ezra and Nehemiah. I'm enjoying that mechanic, so if that's something you like. And then if the idea of being able to find some chaining, this isn't like chain all over the place. This is Hadrian's Wall, but it is in here. And so, I didn't get it, but I saw somebody else do it. I'm like, ooh, makes me want to go try to find that on my own. Can everybody chain, or is it just certain upgrades? That I'm not sure, but it's there. It's in the game. Maybe you can squeeze it out of here. So that's the kind of person I would recommend for this game. And I was surprised that when it took us an hour to get it taught, I thought it was going to take us 3 hours to play it. We started at 7. I'm like, this is going to go to 11 or 12. And we were done by 10, which kind of shocked me. So now, granted, we probably played, there's 2 different sides to this board. One has more rounds than the other. I think there's one more round in here. So that probably dropped the game by about a half an hour. But I was still kind of I was surprised that, and it was a nice surprise. I didn't feel like I would rather play a game and want to play it again than have a game last so long that I don't want to pick it up again. So it left me wanting more, which is good. What do you think? Is this on your shelf? Did you back it? I did not, but I'm glad Derek is a addicted backer more so than me. So, and I've enjoyed it. So, I guess that's what I can say about it. If you have any opinions, if you've played it, if you haven't played it, if you bought it and just sitting on your shelf and you're waiting to get it to the table, hopefully this helps you want to bring it out and put it down. So comment down below. Always enjoy talking to you guys, and just remember, no matter how you play, whether it's solo, with family, or friends, enjoy whatever you are bringing to the table. Have a great night.